Hey guys, Horror Man back for another review. So today we're going to take a look at the Halloween 2018 Ultimate Michael Myers. So let's get started on this. So this is the first Ultimate Halloween Myers that NECA has ever done. And they're only going to be doing it for the 2018 version. So just taking a look at the box here, we've got this really cool picture from the brand new movie. This is kind of like what we saw with the movie poster. It says Halloween Ultimate Michael Myers, and then it also says includes light up flickering pumpkin. Now this is a sticker in case you want to peel that off. Top says Halloween, warning 17 and up. Got the same picture on the side with Halloween, NECA, Real Toys logo. Same thing on the other side. At the bottom we get the credits for NECA and UPC code. And then off to the back, we get some really cool pictures of Michael Myers in different poses and things like that. And you can see a little pumpkin lit up. Alright, and then once you come around to the front again, you can open up the box. And it just shows you this really cool picture of him standing in the doorway with the cool little setup here. Again, the pumpkin down there. And then you can see the figure clearly displayed in the window. Alright, so also you do have a little hanger just in case you want to put it on your wall with your older figures or whatever. So let's go ahead and take this out of the package and have a closer look. Alright, so once you get him out of the packaging, you get a couple little things here. You will actually get this little backdrop here, which has like the opening doorway, and then you see like the little pumpkin on the bottom here, and that's a nice little setup just in case you want to do a couple little photos with Myers. And then of course you get the actual figure. Now you do get tons of accessories and other things, but let's go ahead and get a nice close-up of the first head sculpt that's on inside the box. Alright, so here's the first head sculpt he comes with, and I think it looks really good. The amount of detail they've done in the little cracks in the mask are just so well done. So from every angle you see, just the amount of detail that went into sculpting this little mask is just so well done. I really like the detail, especially on this the sides of the face, especially this left side seems to have a lot of detail. And then the right side, it's not quite as damaged, but you get this nice little signature kind of dip in the cheeks, which really reminds me of the original mask. Then the hair is kind of combed back a little bit, so you can see how it kind of goes straight back. But you do get a little bit of like lumpy parts of hair, which I like. But overall, the details are really nicely done. Now, it's kind of hard to see, but this version, supposedly you could kind of see the eyes better, and I could definitely see it in person, but it's a little hard to capture on video, especially in my lighting. So, but you can see the eyes just a little bit better with this first head sculpt. Now, like I said, you do get another head sculpt with this Michael Myers. And it's going to be this one right here, and I actually like this one just a little bit better. Now it does come off a little more yellowed and weathered looking, but from what I read, this one is like, I guess you can call it the devil's eyes variant, because you really cannot see his eyes. Now again, if you put a lot of light on it like I did with this head sculpt here, you can still see the eyes. They're just really set far back, so it's going to be harder to actually see them on this. But let's go ahead and get the head on here. So you just want to pop this one off, and it's really easy. It's just that straight peg like we've seen with several figures that NECA's made. And then you're just going to want to pop this one on, and it goes on fairly simply. But it's a really cool looking mask. Now, again, I kind of like this one a little bit better. Alright, so here is the second head sculpt. And I definitely like this one just a little bit better I really like how much darker the details are, and yeah, you definitely can't see the eyes as much on this. I would almost call this like a devil's eyes variant because they're just set back farther. But I really like how much different, like especially this left eye looks compared to this first head sculpt. The eye just looks a little small on this one, and I think it's just because the weathering around it is way too light, whereas this one brings it out so much better, so I'm much happier with that. And this one definitely has more slicked back hair compared to the first head sculpt, where this hair looks like it's kind of blowing back a little bit. But back to this one, I just think the details are really, really good in this. They're just a little darker than the first one, and I don't know if that's supposed to look more worn, but it really does bring out the details. Alright, so going over the articulation on this, it's pretty much what you would expect at this point from the Ultimate line. Now one thing that's really important is this head tilt, and you get a lot of that on this Michael Myers, which is great, because since he has a mask on, it's hard to show that expression. But with this tilt, it really helps. So yeah, you got plenty of movement here. I can roll the head any direction with no problem. Now the collar is higher up, so it might restrict it just a little bit from going too far back, but I think that's pretty good for looking up. I think that's best as you can really hope for, and looking down is decent enough. The arms will go all the way out about that far, and they will go pretty far up. They're kind of like on an angle because of the way the shoulders are done on the jumpsuit. He does have a kind of a double hinge joint, I guess you could say. NECA has like a specific way they do it, so it is a little bit different than the typical like Marvel Legends double joint, but it is there. He doesn't really have a bicep swivel, but he can rotate at the elbow a little bit, and then at the wrist he can swivel pretty good. He can't cradle the wrist or like move it up and down that much because of the way the sleeve is cut. So depending on how you pose them, you might get a little bit more posability, but not too much with that. There's really nothing at the torso because of the jumpsuit. Now the body itself may have something, but it seems pretty locked on here, so I'm not really able to bend them much, so that's kind of a downside. The legs can go out pretty far. You can also kick pretty far. Single hinge at the knee. And then as far as the feet, you can go up and down a little bit. And he does have ankle pivot, which is nice, and it actually seems pretty good ankle pivot there. Alright, so that's pretty much it for the articulation, and he stands pretty good too. Alright, now going over the accessories, you get some really cool accessories with the Ultimate Michael Myers. Of course, you do get the interchangeable head. Now, of course, this is the interchangeable head that's already on the body in the box. And then you do get the pumpkin, which is a crucial accessory with the Michael Myers figure. Now you can see you got like the heart shaped eyes, and then even the nose is kind of like a heart shape, and he's got that little cool carved mouth. But if you look at the details, I mean, everything's really nicely done. All the little crevices and the pumpkin, just the way it's sculpted. Now you do get the battery compartment in the back. You can see a little screw there. Now what's cool is NECA already put the batteries in here for you, as opposed to the Mezco one, which was a nightmare. Now there was a little plastic tab in that slot, which you just pull out, and then it'll activate the battery. And then to get this on, you simply just push the stem down, and it lights up. Now I'll turn the lights off in a minute and give you an idea how well that lights up, but we'll go over a couple more things first. Now the next thing is the Judith Meyers Gravestone. It just says our beloved daughter Judith Myers, and then the birth and death dates. Of course, Halloween death date. Pretty cool. It's got a little bit more weathering than the original Michael Myers headstone. Just plain on the back. Not much on the bottom there. And then in terms of accessories as far as weapons, you do get a little like fire poker, and it's pretty neat. It's got a little bit of wear and tear, a little twist in the metal. And it's worth noting this is definitely different than the Jason Voorhees one that we got with the Ultimate Jason Voorhees figure. You got a little hammer, got a little bit of wear on it, and maybe a little bit of blood. Pretty cool details on that. Alright, then the next ones are going to be spoilers, so if you haven't seen the movie, don't want to give anything away, probably want to fast forward through this part. The first real spoiler here is the first interchangeable hand, and Laurie actually shoots his fingers off, so he's only got 3 fingers on his hand here, and it's really bloody, pretty cool looking, good details on it. Then you also get an open hand, open left hand, blood all over that. Back side again, really good detail. And then the final hand for interchangeable hands is a left gripping hand, and that's got blood on it as well. Now, of course, you do get hands on the figure itself. You get a right gripping hand and a left slightly closed, not quite as open hand. Alright, so the final accessory, which is definitely a spoiler, is this carved officer head. Now there's a part in the movie where cops are called, of course, to get Michael Myers, and one of the cops gets killed and his head is like basically severed, and Michael Myers basically carves a pumpkin face in his head. So it's really, really eerie. You can see a lot of details here. His eyes are like carved out. His mouth is carved. Then you can see his teeth in there. Got like the carved or the severed head. You can kind of see it's kind of lumpy around the neck. Got the gray hair. So yeah, this is a really, really eerie accessory. Now there's a couple things you could do with this, and I'm going to turn the lights off and show you how cool this will look. Alright, so that's about as dark as I can get it in this room right now because it is daytime. So the head is actually hollowed out. So if you take it off the stand and you were to basically just shine some light through here, basically you can see how the face can actually light up, which is really cool. So the whole head itself is hollowed out. So if you were to put this with some kind of LED light or some kind of light inside of it, I've seen a couple people put them on their Christmas tree, it will glow pretty well. Now besides that, you also have that cool light in the pumpkin, and it does flicker, so hopefully you can see that better in this lighting, but it does flicker just a little bit, and I really like how easy it is to light this, just pushing that down. So much easier than the Mezco pumpkin. So interchanging the hands is fairly simple. You just want to go ahead and pop this off as best you can. It will take a little bit of force, just like a standard peg like we've seen before with NECA. And it's going to pop in that new hand. And the peg might move on you a little bit, so you really got to get a good grip on this thing. And then once you get it on there, you can see it looks really gruesome. So pretty cool interchangeable hand for old Michael Myers here. Alright, so for the first comparison, here is the Ultimate Michael Myers next to the original Night He Came Home box set Michael Myers. Both are made, of course, by NECA Toys. And wow, this is crazy. I've loved this Michael Myers for a long time, but this new one definitely blows it away. I love the outfit, like the color, of course the articulation, and just the overall quality of the figure. And for the next NECA comparison, here he is next to some of his Ultimate Horror buddies. You have the Part 4 Friday the 13th Jason, you have the original Nightmare on Elm Street Freddy Krueger, and then you have the original Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And these are all part of the Ultimate line, and for the most part it looks like Michael Myers is the tallest, but I know the Jasons can vary depending on the actor that played him, but those guys will definitely be the tallest in the line. And for another NECA comparison, here he is next to the Ultimate Chucky from Child's Play, and then the Ultimate Bride of Chucky, Chucky and Tiffany from the brand new box set. And these aren't supposed to be exact scale, but I think they're good enough, and they look pretty cool next to him. Here's another NECA comparison. You have the Sam from Trick or Treat, the Pennywise from 2017, the movie, and the Pennywise from the 1990 TV series. So Michael Myers still seems like he's a little bit taller. However, I think Bill Skarsgård is actually the tallest actor. I'm pretty sure he is. He's a pretty big guy. But overall, I really like the comparisons. Sam's a little bit big, but overall, really, really cool looking figures. And here he is next to a couple NECA humans. You have Ash from Evil Dead 2, and then you have the Sarah Connor figure from Terminator 2. And I think this one's going to look really cool when that Laurie Strode comes out, maybe putting these two women next to him. But they scale pretty well. You can see Michael Myers is definitely bigger. And for the final NECA comparison, here he is next to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1990 movie, Raphael, and the Fugitive Predator from the brand new Predator movie. Here he is next to a couple 6-inch scale figures. You have the Mayfix Scarecrow from the Dark Knight trilogy, and then you have the Bucky figure from, well actually this is a kind of a mix of Bucky figures, but it's mainly the Winter Soldier version. And you can see that 6-inch scales definitely vary, but Michael Myers is definitely way too big for them. And for the final comparison, here he is next to the Mezco 112 Collective Michael Myers from the original movie. Now I'm sure a lot of people are going to do comparisons of these, but they're both really cool figures. There is a lot of differences, but this is definitely more like the fabric, clothing, and it is based on the original, so it doesn't have all that detail on the mask. But overall, they're two really cool figures. But in general, I would definitely see the NECA one is better. Especially for the price, which is around $25. You really can't beat it. I really like that they gave us a second head. That way, if somebody really wanted to, they can kind of customize a Michael Myers head. But they're both different, and I really love that the second one you really can't see the eyes, so I think that's the winner for me. And that's the one you see on him currently. Now you can see I have the original box set, and I've kind of set up a little scene here, and I love that they gave us a doorway because that was not available. Now there's a lot more to this. I don't have the post around right now, so sorry for that. I do have them, but if you watch the slideshow at the end, you'll see it in those pictures. But yeah, overall, I just think it's such a great figure. There's certain things about this figure that they really nailed compared to the first figure. Again, I really love how you can just push the little top of that stem to get the pumpkin working. The original works. It was just a kind of a pain in the ass to get it to, you have to kind of hold the button in sometimes to get it to work. But yeah, overall, I think it's a great figure. The Mezco one is really good too, but I just think 7-inch scale is where you see a lot of the horror figures. You can see NECA's made everybody from Freddy, Jason, to Pennywise, Chucky, Leatherface. I mean, they've made so many different horror figures that if you get this one, it'll go in scale with all those, whereas the Mezco one really is only going to scale with a very few offerings of figures out there. So thanks for watching my review. Please subscribe, leave a question or comment if you have one. Please like the video. And until next time, guys, see ya.